Hello everybody, it's August 23rd, day 23 of RPGaDay 2024, and you might hear a little road noise. I'm driving in my car, but I'm also using hands-free, so I'm safe. I missed yesterday. I got up and I had to take my car in to get something fixed on it, and it took longer at the dealership, and then I was behind the entire day, and so today I'm getting a twofer. We are going to do the 22nd and the 23rd just because yesterday I didn't have 5 or 10 minutes to myself to record anything. So for yesterday's prompt 22, it's a notable NPC. I want to do 2 entries. I guess these are, I've mentioned one of these before, and I think what I like both about these is they just sort of randomly showed up when I needed something, and then I find them interesting. First one is William the Goat. When I was running 5th edition Storm King's Thunder for D&D, that's all giant themed, and when you randomly encounter a giant, there's a table in there that the giants may have been looting or ransacking the area, and random things you can find in the giant's bag. And the party came across a hill giant, and they defeated it pretty quickly because they were pretty up there in level at that point. But what was in the giant's bag, there were a number of things, but one of the random things that we rolled for, there was a goat, not a dead goat, not goat meat, but actually a live goat. And so they decided to keep the goat, and they named it William, and it just went everywhere with him. And of course, as players do, they would forget about him, because he was an NPC, and then every now and then someone would say, "Hey, where's William? What do we do with William?" And so the running gag just tended to be that William was wherever they were, even if they weren't paying attention to him. Even in the most ridiculous places where a goat could not possibly have followed them, somehow William is kind of there in the corner or there standing at the back. And so I just permanently had William in the initiative tracker because we were playing on Fantasy Grounds, and he always rolled initiative along with everyone else. But nothing ever attacked him. He was never actually in any danger. It would get to William's turn on the initiative, and I would just say, "Bah," and then I would click the button and go on to the next person in the initiative order. But then the players started to develop theories about, is William really just a goat, or is he like a person in disguise? We're looking for the missing king of the Storm Giants, Hecaton. Is William Hecaton? And I wanted to see what the most ridiculous, outlandish thing they could come with over the course of time, and maybe that would be true. But in the end, it turned out he was just a very, very lucky and very loved goat. And so even when the campaign ended, William was just, a friend of the party. I don't even know if we decided who kept William in the long run when they retired from their adventuring careers. But so I loved William the Goat. The other one I'm interested in is, you'll see this, watch our upcoming Tales of the Valiant, our second video on Carl's YouTube channel. As we did our second session of Tales of the Valiant, and the party starts off trying to investigate a series of petty thefts that have subtly escalated into muggings and eventually killing the victim. And so they start questioning some of the town guard, and they decide they're led to go to the sort of a station where there's a watch captain that they can talk to. And in my head, for some reason, I thought, well, let's make the watch captain a dwarf. I said, give me a name. And somebody said Dugh, but spell it D-U-G-H. And I'm like, okay, cool. That actually sounds like a dwarf. And so I just naturally created Watch Captain Dugh the Dwarf. And I said, this looks like the last person you'd want to try to arm wrestle. You get these big, beefy, muscular arms and this great, huge coal black beard that he's meticulously, groomed and braided, and his hair is in kind of matching braiding style. And I won't attempt to repeat. I don't know if I ever settled on a character kind of voice for Dugh yet. He had something vaguely. I think he was coming across as maybe kind of like a kind of a Balkan access, like maybe he was like from somewhere, in Central Europe. But I didn't have to say too many lines in his voice, and I tend to not do voices for characters unless I have a really strong idea in my head of what they are, and also I'm not that great at very many accents. But I'm looking forward to exploring Dugh the Dwarf. He may never come back, but he may be a recurring contact that they have in the city that they can come back to from time to time for information as we sort of right now we're just doing kind of dungeon of the week, little mini short unrelated campaigns, but I am sort of building and laying NPCs for when we get to something that may be more like a campaign here later on. So William the Goat and Dugh the Dwarf are my notable NPCs. Today's prompt is actually a peerless player, and that is really hard, man. How do you say one of your friends is a peerless player without hurting everybody else's feelings? And I do sincerely mean, like, I don't, I think I've got great players, and over the course of my years playing D&D, maybe just a couple of people that weren't much fun to play with, but everybody else is just pretty good players once they get into it and really enjoy it. So that's really hard to pick. I don't know if I'd take a pass on that because I gave you 2 NPCs, but I really I can tell you what the perfect player is. Let me say that for me. What I feel like the perfect player is, it's a person who shows up. Not, it's okay to miss a session. Life gets in the way sometimes, and you have to let everybody play without you. So but a person who's generally there and who pays attention to what's going on. So they do remember what happens from time to time and help preserve sort of the sense of continuity that you get throughout a game. And they're a person who, they don't have to be a rules expert, but they learn how their characters work so that you're not constantly having to, handhold. And again, if it's a new player, that there's a little bit of time and a learning curve there. But once you've kind of been playing for a while, they at least know how to run their characters and their characters' abilities and class features and things like that. But the other thing, and this is something that I think I best saw this summed up. Many people have commented on it over the years, but I best saw it summed up on a message board one time where someone said, "Always play to entertain everyone at the table." A selfish player plays to kind of entertain themselves, and they don't really pick up what the other players are laying down. They may inadvertently, not purposefully, but inadvertently, by not paying attention to what everybody's doing, wind up undermining what another person is doing or spoiling. Kind of everybody's kind of, okay, we're working a certain strategy, and this person just decides to just out of left field do something off the wall, completely inconsistent because they weren't really paying attention, or they saw a really cool thing that, my character can do this really cool, ability I haven't used in a while. I'm going to try that. It's not appropriate to the situation, and it's completely at cross purposes with what's going on. On the other hand, if you have the kind of game where everybody does kind of stumble over each other because that's part of the fun and that's part of the group dynamic, by all means, do that. But I guess that's the other player. It's the player who gets into a sync with the other players and reinforces that this is a collaborative group experience and we're all having fun together. So that would be what a peerless player would be. I can't think of anybody I'd like to nominate who just does that, because I feel like most people I play with do that. So that's it for day 22 and 23. Hopefully we won't have any more gaps, and we'll finish out the month on a daily entry. So we'll, in theory, be back tomorrow. And until then, take care of yourself and try to make somebody happy today.